Good morning, everybody. Today we're gonna demonstrate StraytWay, a navigation app I wrote myself, which can now be used as a VFR navigation system in an airplane, in a real airplane, as a backup system. We're gonna demonstrate it today by flying from Colón in Panama airport at the start, at the mouth or the Atlantic entrance of the Panama Canal, and then fly all the way to the other side to the Pacific entrance or exit of the Panama Canal. And to do that, we're gonna fly over the canal, and then we're gonna land in l'aeroporto internacional de Tucumán. Yeah, whatever. And there's another one. Perhaps we can choose. I just see now there's another one. Perhaps nicer. Get a nicer view of Panama when we land. So what we're going to do. So this is our destination airport. We'll be taking off now from the south to the north because of the wind. And this being only a few miles to the south, we assume it's the same wind there. I haven't checked. I just assume it. So what we're gonna do is put two markers at the end of each threshold of the runway, like so, and then we're gonna make a little route out of the out of these two markers. So the last point should be the active marker, so the south marker. So the first point of the route is this one. Add it to the route, and then this one, the last one. And now the airport is, or the runway is entered. The only thing we need to do is check for the elevation, and therefore we change the map, like so. And the map says we're looking for an elevation line. This is 30, I think. No, that's a 10 meters. Okay, so we go to our navigation screen. Go to the last waypoint. Make sure this is activated. The CDI needle it shows. The magenta shows, and then the 180. That's the course of the of waypoint number 1 to waypoint number 2, but you should reverse that. So click on it, and now it's 0, of course. And now this little airplane has appeared. Click on the airplane, and there you can enter the elevation 10 meters, but that's from a previous flight. Coincidentally, it was already 10 meters, so we don't need to do anything. And our parent altitude, well, it's flat terrain, so we're gonna keep it at 1500 feet. Click on the orange, so it now calculates the length of the runway, 8,500 feet. That's enough for the citation. And then also apparent altitude, which is of course almost 1,500. And here we are. So that's set for our. So it's only 31 nautical miles to Panama City. That's how narrow the isthmus is, the Panama Isthmus. So we're gonna freewheel, wing it over the Panama Canal, and just once we're airborne, we're gonna use StraytWay to get. So we're gonna take off to the north. That's where we are, and gonna fly this way, and then we'll fly to this point. This is where the you can see the entrances of the shipping lanes. In StraytWay you have this button here. It shows the shipping information, so buoys and canals and stuff like that. So that's interesting for our purpose today. This is the city of Colón, and these are the locks, the entrance of the canal. We need to program the autopilot. I'm gonna do that now. the barometer is set to, let's see, we've got a weather app here, and that's Panama. It's only 30 nautical miles, so we'll take for both airports 10-12 as barometer, 10-12. There you go, and we're gonna fly at 5,000, just very low, so we can get a good view of the. And for the rest, it's we're good to go. I'm just gonna switch our. This is our first target. It's our first target. We're gonna set to here somewhere. And then once we're in the air, once we're stabilized, we're gonna fly the Canal. The Canal. Why don't we? So you can see the. Yeah, it's activated. So here it goes. We'll follow it on the map. We don't impose a route on it. So we'll just follow it on the map as we fly. Gonna set my heading bug to the runway. And flaps are set. Trim is set by tow heat. And we're ready. We're ready to go. Brakes release. Full power. We'll rotate at 110. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Accelerate a bit till we are above flap speed. Flaps up. And this is where I'll set our flight level change and our autopilot. Okay. So, as you can see, we are taking off from Cologne, and there are the canals already. This is where we took off, and there in the back is the whole Panama complex, and we have a lovely day. We're flying with real weather, real time, and
altitude.
So we're now flying out, and we'll stabilize first on our cruise altitude of 5,000 feet. And I'm already initiating the turn to the left. And that's not gonna work because we have our heading bug is not active. Now we're turning. And if you watch your StraytWay, you'll see us turn. And we want to go just to this point here. The arrow that you see is our arrow of direction. So the arrow that departs from the crosshairs is the arrow of where we're moving it. And there are the locks. And you'll see it's really a short flight to the so the little circle, the double circle, is our position. Now that the arrow is yeah, we got an overspeed. That's what you get when you and now we're turning to the canal. There it is. And that's the city of Cologne. We're at the Atlantic side of the canal. And so we're on our way for our overflight of the Panama Canal. And as said, we'll try to follow these the shipping lane. And we have a nice little belly camera. That's this is the outside tracking view, but we have a belly camera, and we have a lovely day because this is real weather. Normally there are more clouds. And I'm gonna just put in some degrees to the right so that we start tracking the canal. Watch, the arrow is over here. So the arrow always stays centered, so you see where are we going. So you have this double lock system. Here's a bridge, which is the what's the name of that bridge? The Puente Atlántico, the Atlantic Bridge, which is only logic. And then we got two locks here, the Katun, and the left one is the Katun, the big one. And make sure we that's Katun, and this one is the smaller one is the Katun northbound rear. Okay, so that's already 2 locks. There's even a ship in there. And now it's not really a canal. That's the amazing part of already lost a bit the so it's not a canal, it's just a lake. It's just a very short part of it that is actually a canal. The rest is lake. And this is where the shipping canal is. You don't see that, you see it on the map. We're about flying over it. Now we need to go turn to the left. Otherwise we'll miss it. So this is already the and now it gets really hairy. The ships have to go past that point. Yep. So they have to navigate between islands. And over there is already the Atlantic, and still no canal. So the only real canal we've seen so far is the just gone across this island. That's this huge big island here, and you can see where we're going. We're going for this place. This is the entrance to the Pacific. And we're almost there. Yeah. Can almost start preparing for landing. You barely have taken off. So this is where you are. and we'll be going, yeah, right to where we want to be, to here. So I'm not going to change course. You can see to the right. So this is the canal here. This would be, and that's the entrance to the Pacific, which is a natural entrance. I mean, it's not a canal. It's just because they put in the locks that the whole thing has been flooded. An artificial lake back in the end of the 19th century, I suppose, or the start of the 19th century, 20th century. I'm not sure when it opened. So that's the canal. And it works with fresh water arriving in this lake, and that's how the locks work. If the fresh water if there's no more rain, the locks stop working, and that's a big problem now. We're coming up on some kind of city settlement, which is Gamboa. So I'm gonna correct our course here, and we start flying, following the canal. The last part, really the last part, because so I'm making sure that my arrow here, my tracking arrow, kind of goes parallel to the canal, and then we're fine. And you see, well, here it has been dug out, so this is artificial. This is no longer a lake. So this part here is actually the canal that had been dug out and cost thousands, tens of thousands of lives from malaria, from tropical diseases, not the accidents, but malaria. The French first had a go at it. The CEP, the guy who built the Suez Canal, and they failed, but it cost them 30,000 laborers, and then the Americans had the second go. Going straight down the canal. And that, in the end, that's the Pacific already. Wow, impressive bridge here, and that's the. Does it have a name? The Via Centenario. Via I can't read. A viaduct. It's a viaduct, probably. It's French. And there are the entrance, the Pacific locks. So this is a set of two, and then there's a big one over there. So this is are the smaller locks, and then there's a huge one. And that's all. That's all there is to it. Two locks, and that's Panama. That's Panama City. So yeah, that's it. Where are we? We're right over the locks. Looking down. And our airport must be there somewhere. So we're gonna descend to our apparent altitude, which is 1500. Well, first we'll do the some more sightseeing of the locks, and they look pretty much the same as on the other side. There's a huge container ship, cargo vessel. I don't know what the pools are. These are three pools, probably a reservoir or something. We saw the same three pools at the other side, and so we're flying into the Pacific, and that's all. That's the Isthmus of Panama. You can see the you can see the Atlantic here. That's the Atlantic Ocean. So that's how short it is. And this is our airport. This is where we have to land. And that's Panama City. Pretty close to the canals. Okay, so we're gonna set up our... We're pointing now, our arrow is pointing to the to our thresholds, just making sure. That's our airport. And we're gonna descend to 1500s. We're gonna do that by changing our descent rate. And make it pretty fast. And make sure we stop at 1500, so I'm gonna put in our altitude. And once we're established, already gonna start flying parallel, so we are on our right downwind, if you want. So I'll start flying parallel to our I'm governing the speed in the meantime with our auto throttle. So I'm just putting in bugs in the autopilot to the right till we fly in StraytWay parallel to the magenta line, which is the center line of the runway. And then we're in our pattern. There we are. So we're coming across these islands and
altitude.
coming up on our a little bit over speed. Coming in like a race car, 250, we should be below our 250, below 10,000 feet. That's better. Yeah, Cessna doesn't have a auto throttle. Kinda hazy. We are 9 miles out from the threshold, and since we are established, gonna make our turn to the right, so we can start turning on the right base. Meantime, I'm lowering our speed to flap speed. And get our gear out once we're... Okay, flaps 15. And also gear out and give some power to compensate for the drag. So we have our gear out. Now watch the magenta figure. That is the distance to the center line, the cross-track error, so the perpendicular distance to the center line. And perhaps we need to watch these islands. They're showing up green, which should be safe. But anyway, we'll turn past them. .8. We have a good speed to We'll drop to flaps 30 speed once we're on the final. Oops. So what is there to see to the next? Nothing. So our runway must be somewhere over there. Oh, the needle is moving. Start turning. That's what you get when you're sightseeing too much. Not too much. That we still have some. We're still approaching the. And that's a bit too much. So the idea is to have the yellow arrow at the other side of the magenta line, then the... so that's wrong, we should be on the other side. Otherwise we won't approach the deal. That's better. And once we're, we should move to 360. So the 342 should move to 0. Once we're on. Our descent rate is 2.9. If you were to descend now, we would be at 2.9, which is not steep enough. And now I'm going to put in our vertical speed and make it 800. And flaps, full flaps out. So I'll keep the and now we should be descending, though we can't see the can't really see the runway. Should be okay.
Altitude.
And well, there it is. So I'm gonna switch to manual.
Autopilot.
And get my too fast. And those trees is I'm not sure that you'll have that in at the real airport. That's hairy. That looks you're fine. Off and brake because there's no reverse thrust on the Cessna Citation. Oh, that was a nice demonstration of a kind of IFR approach we did with StraytWay. And StraytWay you can also see the facilities, the airport facilities. So if you go, you can see us tracking the runway, and there's one here. Okay, we'll take that one. So, that was the Panama Canal. We made it to the... turn left here. I made it from the Atlantic to the Pacific in just over a quarter of an hour. 10 minutes. I know. Try and get us to a full stop. Yeah, I'll just park it around here. And a nice angle, and we're gonna call it a day. There we are. Jack, brakes, and welcome to Panama City, or at least an airport in the vicinity. Hope you found this helpful and interesting, and hope to see you next time for another flight with StraytWay.